Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome into the video. So in this video, I'm going to be going through a couple scenarios of what I see happening in the stock market next, going through some super important technical patterns, technical support levels to watch, resistance levels to watch, and just really important to know where we're at on a technical basis right now with everything going on, all the fear about inflation, fear about what the Fed is going to do next, and now we got the Russia and Ukraine tensions that's going on. So a lot of crazy things in the market that's setting us up for a ton of volatility moving forward, which will bring up a ton of opportunity but a ton of risk at the same time. And technicals are always great to just have that, know your levels, know where to put your stop losses, know when to buy in, and everything like that. So the main thing that I look at for the broad market technicals is the S&P Futures. The S&P 500 makes up the heavy majority of the market, and essentially that index itself dictates most of the overall market price action in the majority of different sectors. So using the overnight price action included with the daily price action, so using the futures chart, using that to just give you the best idea of where the market is going next. So in this video, the main thing that we're going to be analyzing is the S&P Futures chart. So taking a look now, last week the outlook for the S&P was all based on this wedge pattern. We were looking for either a breakout out of this wedge or a breakdown from below this wedge to see more downside or that upside scenario to play out. So midweek last week, the trend was looking very bullish after starting to break out of the downtrend, though this turned into a false breakout once the inflation data came out on Thursday morning. This caused the price to fall back into this wedge pattern, causing a false breakout, and with Russia and Ukraine news on Friday, added fuel to the fire, and currently is testing the bottom of the wedge right at trendline support. So false breakouts like this one can often turn to violent moves back to the downside, which is what we're seeing right now, with the S&P testing the bottom of the wedge along with that key support at $4,400 as a big psychological price level. This is a big decision point. Next week I'm watching that 4,400 level very closely. If it breaks below that level, more downside is looking likely and could be headed down towards retest around those recent lows. One possibility that I'm watching for as well is for a potential higher low to be made off that long-term trendline support, which would be a great look for a reversal if it could hold that higher low and potentially go on to make a higher high after that. And something else, the 200-day moving average is super important to pay attention to as well. It's an indicator that many traders use, essentially saying that the market is bullish when above the 200-day and bearish when below. So last week we tested it once, we bounced off, but on Friday we broke back below and could not hold, ending up closing below it on Friday. So it is very important to get back above for the market to reclaim that bullish trend. Currently it's sitting right at about 44.50, which is a big spot to watch. If it can be reclaimed, this past 2-day drop could be a quick fake out and quick bounce back to the upside. Though if it cannot reclaim, then more market downside is looking like the most likely scenario. And one final visual, this is the most bearish look, potentially setting up a head and shoulders pattern. If the market cannot make a higher high above that recent resistance, above 4,600, then it's potentially filling out the right shoulder of this pattern, and a break below those recent lows, right around 4,200, could be a trigger for the next leg down for the market. So those are some big levels to pay attention to and can give us the best indication of where the market is headed next, based on what it does at these price levels. In a market as volatile as this one, it's best not to try to be a hero, predict what's going to happen next. It's best to have a plan, know what you're going to do, and react based on the price action and based how price reacts on those patterns and at those levels. Something very important to note as well is the overall market trend and direction is seriously dictating all moves right now. In a bull market, you'll see good news send stocks shooting up. In a more bearish market like we're in right now, good news sometimes has no reaction or can even have a negative reaction. A perfect example of this is recent earnings from Twilio stock, ticker symbol TWLO. So this past week, Twilio had a big beat on earnings and on guidance. So the company came in with a small beat on profitability and a big beat on revenue, coming in with $842 million versus $768 million projected, which was close to a 10% beat on that. They also had a big beat on guidance, saying they expect 855 to 865 revenue in Q1 versus the expectation of 803 million. So after this large beat, the stock popped 30%, hitting an after hours high right around $263 per share. But the next day was the day that the inflation data came out, spooking the market, and this resulted in Twilio erasing that full 30% gain the next day, and the day after that, it dropped another 7%. This is a great example of just how this market is so tough right now, and moves in the macro environment can change everything, no matter how good that company-specific news is. For investors that saw a big earnings beat from Twilio, they got excited, and they bought the stock after hours expecting more upside. Well, now they're underwater on their position, close to 30% if they were buying in that after hours session. So I just want to make this quick video to give you guys a market outlook, my thoughts on everything, and where I think the market may be headed next based on how it reacts on each of those patterns and price levels. Like I was saying, it's best not to try to be a hero. Don't try to predict the top. Don't try to predict the bottom. The reality is nobody knows where the market is going next. All you can do is have a plan moving forward to risk manage, react at each price level, and just be prepared for anything in a market like this. If I did provide some value to you in this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate that. It helps me out a ton. Also, for anybody interested in joining the private Discord chat, that's the first link down in the description. You get alerts for all my personal buys and sells. I answer any questions you have, and you get nightly watch list, nightly market outlook for the next day, and trade ideas. So that's the first link down in the description. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you on next time. Make sure to stay safe with this market, have a plan moving forward. Good luck to everybody. See you next time. Peace out.